What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Raw review. Today we are doing the November 15th, 1993 edition. This is episode number 40 in Raw's history, so let's get right into it. Raw this week begins with a recap of the fight between Crush and Randy Savage from last week, and because of that, Jack Tunney has removed Savage from commentary, and nothing has been said if he's suspended, but my guess is that he will return at the Royal Rumble. With my luck at predicting stuff, he'll be back next week. So, for our first match, it's Racer Ramone versus the Brooklyn Brawler, who is technically a main roster talent, but we all know he's a jobber, so I skipped to the end of this match, where Racer Ramone hit the Racer's Edge for the win. Afterwards, we got a message from Crush, just warning Randy Savage to stay out of his way. Next up, we have the Head Shrinkers in a match against some random wrestlers. They pick up another win on Raw with a flying splash from Fatu, I believe. Then we go back to an episode of Superstars where Lex Luger tells us who will replace Tatanka at Survivor Series. A legit surprise to me, it was none other than The Undertaker. He cuts an American Pride promo as the Deadman character, which is odd, and he also opens up his robe, his jacket, whatever you want to call it, to show an American flag stitched to the inside. The tag team match is basically a fantasy match, so him being at it just makes the match more interesting than it already was. Next, we have a featured match of the week, Pierre of the Beckers versus Lex Luger. This match was voted on by fans. They picked Luger out of different superstars to be in this match. Polo and Pierre try to bamboozle Lex Luger at the start, but he outsmarts them as they go to commercial. A little later, they do get the upper hand on Luger, and Pierre rams his back into the post on the outside. This match was putting me to sleep, in all honesty, but Luger gets his comeback going, knocks Johnny Polo out of the ring trying to interfere, and hits the flying forearm for the win. Remember that he has a metal plate in it, and Pierre is still down and out after they return from a commercial. They played that really well, the forearm to the head, that is. After that, Diesel takes on a jobber and gets the win after hitting a big boot and an elbow drop. Don't see why he hit the elbow drop afterwards, but he needed to make sure his opponent was for sure not kicking out, I guess. Going back to Pierre, during the Survivor Series update, they say that he suffered a concussion and might be out of the pay-per-view match entirely. We then see Jeff Jarrett at a recording studio getting pissed at a guy who he says can't play the guitar. And future superstar Jacqueline makes an appearance as his assistant. Nothing really comes out of this segment. Jarrett just says the same things he's been saying in previous weeks, and that's the last thing of note on this episode, so let's get to the awards. For the best moment, I had The Undertaker being revealed as the new partner for the tag team at Survivor Series. For the worst moment, I have Jeff Jarrett having another vignette basically saying the same thing he's been saying already in previous vignettes. For the worst match, I had Lex Luger versus Pierre. This match was so boring, it actually made me less excited for the pay-per-view. For the best match, there wasn't another match that I saw all the way through, so I can't give out a best match for this week. For the wackest performer, I'm going to give that to Lex Luger. The way he was selling in this match and building up to his comeback was not believable whatsoever. He looks uninterested every time he's out there having a match, so yeah. For the stand-up performer, I don't like giving this one out when nobody really deserves it, but Johnny Polo was the best part of that match. He's telling the crowd to shut up so that he could hit Luger while the Rev wasn't looking. He took a good bump from Luger, so yeah, Polo gets best performer of the night. It counts. And for the overall grade of this show, I'm going to give it a failing grade. It's almost like they weren't even trying to build to Survivor Series, because this was technically the go-home Raw to the pay-per-view, but it just seemed like they didn't do nearly enough to get people excited. The guys wrestling tonight all were part of a tag match at Survivor Series, but again, sure they're getting momentum, but they're not building any heat between them and their opponents. Besides the Foreign Fanatics, none of the other teams have been together on an episode of Raw in the last couple of weeks, so yeah, Survivor Series is the next show before Raw. I'll watch that on my spare time. No review for that one on this channel, but I'll watch it just to know what happened and not be wondering, because they usually don't tell us the results of the pay-per-view on the Raw after. With that being said, I'm out. I'll catch you guys on the next one.